Welcome to this update. So in this video we'll take a look at the tropics and at the severe weather in the US. So first we'll make a brief forecast in Spanish for parts of Central America, and then we'll take a look at some models and some tropical stuff. So let's see here. Hola, ¿qué tal? Entonces, hay toda esta lluvia fuerte aquí en América Central, principalmente en partes de Panamá y Costa Rica. Hay mucha lluvia fuerte estos días, en el oeste de Colombia también, más en Panamá y Costa Rica, este fin de lunes así, y ya se calma un poco, pero está muy activo ahí hasta el domingo así. Y aquí más al norte, también muy activo, con lluvias y tormentas en partes del sur de México, de Guatemala y Honduras así. Pero a partir del lunes, estas lluvias se concentrarán más aquí, cerca de Honduras, de El Salvador, Guatemala, sur de México, y puede formarse un ciclone ahí en el Pacífico con lluvia muy fuerte cerca del ciclone en partes de Guatemala y El Salvador, sur de México. Y mira, esto sería el lunes, así. Lluvia muy fuerte en Guatemala, en El Salvador, sur de México. Luego el martes, más en sur de México ahí. Lluvia muy fuerte así, y continúan en los próximos días más lluvias y tormentas dispersas así. Y entonces la acumulación de lluvia en las próximas 12 horas, más en partes de Costa Rica, Panamá, partes de Nicaragua también, sur de México, en Yucatán también, y partes de Guatemala y Honduras, tal vez, en las próximas 24 horas, más en Yucatán, el oeste de Cuba, Nicaragua, Panamá un poco más, Costa Rica, sur de México, así, Amazonas. En los próximos 3 días ya sube bastante, mucho más en partes de Costa Rica, principalmente la costa pacífico de Costa Rica, Nicaragua también, y Honduras, El Salvador, más en Guatemala y México, y en el sur de México. En los próximos 5 días ya sube tremendamente. Y mira qué altas estas cantidades de lluvia, como casi 300 milímetros de lluvia en estas zonas de Guatemala, del sur de México, casi 400 milímetros. Así, esto es muchísima lluvia en los próximos 5 días, principalmente entre 3 y 5 días así, pero en todos estos días en total así. Entonces, más ahí, en Guatemala, más de 380 milímetros, y en el sur de México aquí, 400 milímetros hasta en unas zonas del sur de México, y en El Salvador mucha lluvia también, 300 milímetros y todo. Y más aquí abajo un poco, unas zonas de Panamá aquí, en los 300 milímetros, de Costa Rica también así. Y por favor compartir esta información con personas que conocéis en estas zonas, porque estas lluvias son peligrosas y pueden causar inundaciones y deslizamientos de tierra así. Entonces, mucha precaución. Y ahora miramos un modelo de ciclone aquí, y a ver lo que nos enseña sobre o que está pasando, porque tenemos indicaciones que puede formarse este ciclone en el Pacífico así, como el lunes así, con toda esta lluvia fuerte, pero luego así puede formarse un ciclone cerca de Yucatán ahí, y se va hacia el oeste, y puede afectar zonas del sur de Texas y México ahí. Y mira cuánta lluvia fuerte para partes del norte de México, como día 21 así, por causa de los restos de este ciclone. Sea un ciclone muy breve, muy sin tanta potencia, pero los restos pueden causar lluvias fuertes ahí. Y entonces miramos esta acumulación de lluvia con otros modelos. Este es un otro modelo meteorológico y este modelo tiene el peor de la lluvia más al sur, como en El Salvador y sur de Honduras. Y mira esto, tiene más de 600 milímetros en partes de El Salvador. Esto quizás sea una mica demasiado alto esto, porque a veces estos modelos fallan un poco, pero ya sabéis que viene muchísima lluvia. Y hay este otro modelo que, no que enseña como muy poco comparado con los otros dos modelos. Enseña más en el sur de México, aquí casi 300, pero aquí abajo enseña poco. Yo confío más en este primero modelo aquí, que enseña esto todo. Y es esto. So, let's see the rest of the Caribbean here. So, in the next 5 days, we could have some more showers and thunderstorms in parts of the southern Lesser Antilles, some accumulations in Trinidad and Tobago, and some smaller accumulations to the north, but there could be some showers here in the Lesser Antilles, more showers further north in Puerto Rico too, some more accumulations. In the Dominican Republic, some spots with more there, and Haiti too, some spots. In Cuba, like Western Cuba, more rain for Jamaica too, especially between 3 days and 5 days. And let's see, the Northern Bahamas too, some more the next 5 days in other areas. So, time for some tropical stuff. Let's see. So, here from the disturbances, we have this one here. It's at a 10% chance of development in the next 2 and 7 days. But satellite data and surface observations indicate that the low pressure area offshore the southeastern US goes moving northeastward into the open Atlantic. This system is expected to merge with a front over the weekend, and the chances of tropical development are decreasing. Regardless of development, heavy rain might continue in parts of Florida through Saturday. So that's for that system. Then there's this other system, it's already at 50% chance of development. So it's now at 50. So broad area of low pressure is forecast to form on the southwestern Gulf of Mexico late this week and to early next week. Environmental conditions appear conducive for gradual development of the system, and a tropical depression could form early or middle part of next week and move westward or northwestward. So we'll keep monitoring that too. And on the Pacific here, they already have an invest. And what does this say? It says 0% about the air low pressure a couple hundred miles southwest of Acapulco, Mexico, is producing limited shower and thunderstorm activity. Environmental conditions are expected to remain unfavorable, and this system is not expected to form. But they say this, but all the models I'm checking are showing that a cyclone might form there off the Central American coast. But it shows further south here, not in the coast, not near the coast of Mexico. It's showing that it might form like near the coast of Guatemala and El Salvador there, a system by this weekend or something, by Monday. So they might add another area of investigation here, because let's see here. So this is the, let's put the latest hero. So this is the latest hero, and it has some impressive features on this system in the Atlantic. It's almost like developing that, but then it gets attached into the front there, and you can see all the rain in Central America there, and the Euro has like a low pressure forming there near Central America, and then bringing all those heavy rain there. But I don't know if it will form into something or not, because it's like a very weak low pressure there by Monday. So let's see the GFS. So it has that system there too, like a low pressure, but they also have decreased the chances for that. Then some more rain there, more rain in Central America, and the GFS kind of has this system forming. It forms like a low pressure, but not really there. It's like messy. It's not a actual cyclone forming, but regardless of that, there'll be tremendous rain in those areas, and everyone should be careful. But it takes the low pressure north and forms it in the Bay of Campeche there, and quickly moves into Mexico there, and brings some heavy rain to parts of Mexico there. So, but then, as always, the GFS has this other system forming the southern Caribbean there, and another trying to form by June 21st off the coast of El Salvador there, and entering southern El Salvador and southern Honduras there by June 22nd or 23rd. And then it takes this system further north into the Gulf of Mexico and strikes it in the Florida Panhandle. This is still kind of far out, and you know how the GFS is, but we better keep watching that. But let's show you the 0Z Euro from this morning, because it has some interesting things going on. So first, he has all that heavy rain there in Central America, and almost forms a system, but not quite. But then it takes this moisture north and forms like a big circulation there, a big low pressure, and takes most of the moisture into Texas there. So the low pressure is down there, but it takes most of the moisture into Texas. Some very heavy rain to Texas by June 19th. And then the actual cyclone makes landfall in Mexico there and brings the heavy rain in towards Mexico. So this was the 0Z Euro. Let's see the Canadian here. So it has, interestingly, by June 16th, the Canadian still has this low pressure forming the southern Caribbean there. So it's very like sure with that, and then it takes this low pressure into the Yucatan, and then it goes north and forms again in the Gulf of Mexico. Takes this as a big tropical storm into Mexico there too by June 21st there, actually by June 20th. So that's the Canadian. It has the moisture there in Central America, but it shows no cyclone in the Pacific, just that one in the Caribbean. So let's see some model guidance here, some ensembles. So this one are the Euro, I think, has some lower pressures near Central America, and interestingly it also has low pressures in the Southern Caribbean and all over Central America there, and it has this lower pressure in the Eastern Pacific and more lower pressures into the Gulf there, and it takes it kind of further north near Mexico and Texas there. And then there is, from the GFS, the GEFS, lower pressures all around Central America and in the Pacific too, and then more lower pressures there in the Pacific, and then in the Gulf too, some lower pressures in the Gulf by June 28th there, and but they take that as a grain of salt. It's very far and we're not sure. So let's see, the GEPS, like the Canadian, it has this low pressure in the Southern Caribbean crossing there into the Yucatan and into the Gulf of Mexico there, and more lower pressures by the Gulf of Mexico later by the end of June. So these are the ensemble runs here, but take that as a grain of salt too. Everything's just a forecast. So the imminent danger are the heavy rains in Central America, and we're monitoring this system in the Bay of Campeche. So let's see. Let's see if we can get some more stuff here. So let's see. This is some wind shear map. So it has like wind shear over the Atlantic there and in Florida. It has lower wind shear by Central America there, but a little bit higher in the Pacific. But you can see all this lower wind shear from the gyre there in Central America, and then it continues there, but it's a little bit higher in the Gulf of Mexico, but there's this lower wind shear there. So I guess we have to keep monitoring this. So let's see the severe weather now. So there are these two slight risks today, one in parts of Colorado, Kansas, and Nebraska, even extreme northeastern New Mexico, and this marginal risk from New Mexico, Texas Panhandle, through Kansas there, Oklahoma Panhandle, Colorado, the Dakotas, and all the way to Idaho there, Montana, Wyoming, and southern Saskatchewan. So let's see, there's this other slight risk from Ohio to Maine, and this marginal risk there in the parts of the mid-Atlantic and northeast, all the way from eastern Kentucky to New Brunswick. So let's see, tornado just in the plains, 2% from Colorado to Kansas. Wind in the plains too, hatched for very strong winds, like 65 knots or greater, and this 15 is 5% there in the plains. And then here in the east coast, the 15% in the slight and the 5% in the marginal for damaging winds. And hail also in the northeast, this 5% and this 15%, and in the plains this big 5% and 15%. So scared severe thunderstorms with large hail and wind gusts around 60 to 80 miles per hour will be possible from mid-afternoon through this evening along a front range of central Great Plains. Scared strong to severe thunderstorms with occasional damage winds associated with hail too, also possible in parts of the northeast and mid-Atlantic during the afternoon and early evening. So be aware. This is for tomorrow, day 2, and has a slight risk from Kansas to Iowa, and a marginal from Texas to Wisconsin, and this other marginal here from parts of Wyoming, Nebraska, all the way to Manitoba and Saskatchewan. So there's also this light risk in parts of northeastern Montana and eastern Montana, northwestern South Dakota, North Dakota there, southern Manitoba and Saskatchewan. So tornado threat, 2% there in the north, and 5% there in Iowa and Nebraska, and 2% from Kansas to Minnesota tomorrow. So be aware the tornado threat. Wind, it's hatched there in the north, and is 5%, and 5% there too. And hail, it's also hatched in the north for large hail, and 5% there. Scarce severe thunderstorms with damaging wind gusts and large hail are possible from mid-Missouri Valley into the eastern Montana and central North Dakota. A couple of tornadic storms may occur in the eastern Nebraska into western Iowa with associated significant hail and wind possible in the northern Great Plains. So be aware. Day 3 is kind of here. Let's see. Okay, so it's a marginal from parts of Wyoming there to the UP of Michigan, so probabilistic 5%, so just a marginal for day 3, which is Sunday. So scared, strong, and a few severe thunderstorms expect on Sunday evening and overnight from parts of northern plains into the upper Mississippi Valley, with hail as the primary risk. So be aware on Sunday. So day 4 here, we still have this 15% risk in Minnesota, parts of North and South Dakota there. So be aware on day 4 for Monday. Day 5, nothing. Day 6, day 7, day 8, nothing. Okay, so let's see here. The storms here. So let's see the whole country here. We have some storms already fired in Maine, parts of eastern Canada too. And then more storms showing firing in Pennsylvania, in Ohio, going to parts of Maryland. More storms in Pennsylvania there. And then storms and showers affecting New Jersey, New York, and the Big Island there. In parts of Connecticut and Massachusetts, some thunderstorms too. And they have that severe risk there. So here in the plains, some in New Mexico, more storms in Colorado, some stronger ones going to the Oklahoma Panhandle into Kansas, and even this line affecting the Texas Panhandle. More storms there in parts of Nebraska, northern Colorado, some stronger ones, and some showers, and maybe a storm there in the Dakotas in Canada. So now let's see some more storms there, and it shows this bigger line of storms there by the end of this run. So be aware and stay safe. Let's see just some bigger things. Here, wait. So the excessive rainfall outlook, I don't know, this is not working. Let's see here in the other page. So excessive rainfall is a slight, because a few minutes ago they had a moderate in southern Florida there, but I guess they changed it into a slight. So let's see, day 2 a marginal there and a slight in the upper Midwest there in plains, marginal. Day 3 a slight there and a slight there in the Gulf Coast and Midwest, and 2 marginals. Day 4 a slight in the upper Midwest, and 2 marginals there, also marginal down there. Day 5 actually a marginal in the Gulf, and 2 marginals there. So today this marginal there, not a marginal there. So be aware. Precipitation. So let's see for US and southern Canada. Day 1, day 2, day 3 more in the Gulf. Day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7. So days 1 through 7 here, some areas of high accumulation in the plains, and lots of rain in the Gulf and in Mexico there. So be aware. Let's see. We have another system going into the Pacific Northwest, maybe some snow in higher elevations there too, and on day 3 in parts of Canada too. And day 4 shows some probabilities in western Montana and parts of Idaho for some snow, and day 5 some lighter probabilities. So be aware too. Stay safe, bye. And one more thing, so we have some high surf advisories in Hawaii, some heat advisories in many areas there, some excessive heat warnings, some red flag warnings too. I think it's that, yes. Some winter storm watches there in western Montana, like I showed you, some high wind watches, air quality advisories, flood watches in Florida, severe thunderstorm watch there, and some warnings there and stuff. So it's very hot in these areas here too, of the southeast. So there's this heat wave coming still. And let's see here. Here that they have these key messages for the heat wave in the northeast and Midwest later, and then we have this heat risk here. We have these high temperatures for today, around 100s in the southwest and in Mexico, more 100s there, lots of 80s or 90s in the California Valley, some 100s in Mexico there, in Texas, especially south, not really Texas, more like New Mexico, 100s in some areas, 90s all the way to Missouri there today, and more 90s in the south and the southeast. Let's see, more 90s all the way to Washington DC. Let's see here, for the coming days, still some 90s in the south tomorrow, More 90s in the north and in the southwest later. More 90s there. Hotter there. We even have some special weather statements for hot temperatures upcoming parts of Canada too. They had some special weather statements there, and even hotter later there. So we'll talk more about the heat wave in the next videos if needed. And the fire risk for today, they have some isolated dry thunderstorms there and 3 areas of elevated fire risk. Tomorrow they too still elevated in 2 areas, and let's see here. Wait, here in day 3 through 8, for day 4 they have 1 area there for fire danger, and for day 5 they have the other area there. So be aware. Now bye.